In today's video, we're taking the train directly to Brisbane Airport, flying Singapore Airlines aboard the A350 in business class, and asking, do they deserve the rating of the world's second best airline according to the latest airline ratings? Well, air train from the centre of Brisbane to Brisbane International Airport was as smooth as clockwork. 25 minutes, really good value. Return ticket for $20, they had a promotion going. So if you're ever in Brisbane needing to get to either the domestic or international airport, think of the air train, airtrain.com. It's a great service, good Wi-Fi on board, 25 minutes. Brisbane is my favourite Australian gateway. The airport never feels crowded. It's close to the city and the gateway for both Gold and Sunshine coasts. The airport services 30 international destinations. So at Brisbane Airport, Singapore Airlines only opens their check-in counters 3 hours prior. So even if you have no bags and you've got your boarding pass, the lounge doesn't open until 3 hours before. So you need to keep that in mind when you're flying Singapore Airlines, certainly out of Brisbane, Australia. Well, I think I set a new record there for myself getting through security. It took less than 4 minutes. Probably has a lot to do with the time of the night. It's coming up to about 8:15 in the evening, and there's only 4 or 5 international flights this evening. Coming back to Brisbane Airport, and it's a beautiful airport. Brings back huge memories for me when Monique and I first launched our international airline called Kiwi International back in 1995. Brisbane was where we centred our operations. I mean, we were New Zealand based, but the Kiwis that we were flying were all flooding to Brisbane for the sunshine. So it's amazing to be back. Lots of different mixed emotions. Now I've just spotted our aircraft at the gate. I'll swing around and we'll go and have a glimpse of the A350 that's winging us tonight to Brisbane. The lounge still isn't open, but it should be open in a few minutes. And so we'll get the first videos of the aircraft and then we'll head off to the lounge. It's nearly always impossible to get a really good view of an aircraft at night at the gate, but here we are. This is the Singapore Airlines A350 that's going to fly us to Singapore tonight. It's serial number 475. It's just 2 years old. Registration 9 Victor Sierra Hotel Victor. And it's operating Singapore Airlines Flight 246. So welcome to Singapore Airlines Lounge in Brisbane, Australia. It's a very boutique lounge. They have 2 or 3 flights a day. It's nicely laid out, great view over the airport, nice cheese offering with coffee, of course, good selection of alcohol and wine, some lovely looking desserts with fresh fruit and some lovely Asian dishes which I will explore. So it's really nicely done. It's boutique. Certainly you don't feel crowded. So this is Singapore Airlines Lounge at Brisbane International Airport. I've got a couple of hours of work I need to do, so I'm going to locate here and get some work done. Time to leave the lounge and start the boarding process. I must confess, it's the first time I've ever been in a lounge where I've been advised I've reached the cap of internet data use. Very strange and a little inconvenient for business travellers. Apparently it's a recent cap introduced by Singapore Airlines at their lounge just in Brisbane. Nice to be boarding, good to be on board the A350. The flight's quite full and we slowly get the first glimpse of our seat. It's the slightly older seat model, but it's still quite a nice layout. The seat has 60-inch pitch and a 28-inch seat width. The seat headrest is movable and you can manipulate it to support your neck. Individual reading lights are on the right hand side, however I found them a little tricky to get on and even harder to get off. The seat has the over-the-shoulder seat belt, which you can release once airborne. There's a lovely little cubby which has the headset, the water, and good charging points for both USB and power. The tray table pulls out nicely from underneath the IFE, and it's a really good size, good for working. Remote control on the left, seat controls on the left. Only one window in the suite. Handy little jacket holder, literature, including sick bag, etc. on the bottom left. Now the menu was very pleasant. It offered an evening meal and a full breakfast. I chose to order online before the flight. I ordered the steak. Now the amenity kit is a letdown. You've got to ask for it now on SQ, and when it comes it's very minimal, but you can add things to it. You can ask for a razor or toothbrush or eye shades. Now before we knew it, the safety video started to play. We were pushing back, getting ready for our departure. It was a rather wet, stormy evening. I'll let you enjoy the takeoff roll. The water will hopefully dissipate quickly as we build speed, and you'll get a view. Well, we've started the service on board with a gin and tonic and some very nicely heated nuts. Thank you.
Would you like more gin and tonic?
No, I'm good, thank you.
How about some wines?
No, I'll be good as well.
Right,
Thank you.
Should I cut more?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. And the nuts if you like. Thank you. A nicely set tray, linen, full metal cutlery, but doesn't have the Singapore Airlines logo embossed. A nice warm bun with some olive oil. Now I ordered my meal through the Singapore Airlines app. Order cooked by the chef, I think it's called. So I'm having a steak. This is obviously the entree. If I'm being totally honest, I'm a little confused by the meal service. It's as though Singapore Airlines seems to really want you to go to sleep immediately on boarding and then have a breakfast 2 hours prior to your arrival. I've chosen to order the steak via the app, and so my entree is very pleasant, but it's basically fruit salad. And when I was offered bread, it was croissants and jam or bread rolls. So clearly it's a bit of a hybrid. I'm assuming I'm getting my steak after this. And I'm a little confused whether or not I'll actually get a breakfast. But this will all unfold as we proceed. It's a little strange, but very nice. It's a handy little tool.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to clarify with you. Actually, for this sample service, actually it's only one meal service.
There's only one
yeah,
meal
but if
service.
there is something, we do not have the waffles anymore.
Okay.
But if you really want the other meals, I can do my best to see if I can accommodate to it.
It's okay. I just read the menu, and the menu says
It state.
both.
Oh.
It clearly says both.
Well,
Yeah.
let me just have a look. Is
Yep.
it this one?
Yep, it is. If you look at the sleeper service, read up here. Or both.
Or both.
We'll leave it to us.
Alright.
Interesting.
Interesting. Is there something that you like other than the waffles?
Look, I'm not going to make any trouble. I'll probably have a croissant because, as you'll know, when you turn on the lights to serve half the cabin,
Yes,
everybody
that's
will
it.
be awake. So I'll have a croissant or something.
Alright.
Okay, but you might want to speak to whoever
Yes,
decides
I will do.
it's just one service because the menu says two.
Thank you.
So my steak has been served. It looks very nice. So as you'll probably know, cooking a steak on board an aeroplane is a little tricky. So let's try it. Oh my gosh, that's really good. They've got that right. It is so soft, it just sort of melts in your mouth. I didn't realize steak could do that. So that's world class. I can't fault the steak on board Singapore Airlines. I also forgot to say they've got cute little pepper and salt shakers, which I quite like. I've had a lovely chat with the cabin crew, who's absolutely delightful, and I was a little confused and she was a little confused. She spoke to her supervisor, who said actually there's only one meal service and it's either just after takeoff or 2 hours before landing. It's one or the other. That I pointed out, in fact the menu says that or both. So there seems to be some inconsistencies here. And so Singapore Airlines might want to get that right, because when you turn the lights on immediately after takeoff to serve the meal and serve the meal for breakfast, you're going to turn the lights on and wake up the cabin. So it doesn't seem to have been well thought through, although maybe the menu's right. It's supposed to be both. Either way, it's a first world problem. I will not starve to death on this flight.
We have the waffles, just the last one.
Oh.
Is it okay if I wake you up later on for the waffles?
That's fine. Thank
Alright,
you.
No problem. Thank
Cool. So welcome to the Singapore Airlines business class lavatory. They've got some facial mist, an aftershave and a hand cream, sanitary items and obviously some towels. Otherwise it's a pretty stock standard bathroom. Nice mirror. They do have toothbrushes down here, which is great, although it's an IQ test and I can't get it open. which is annoying because I would like to brush my teeth. Never mind, obviously the thought counts. That's the bathroom. I'm gonna do what men do in the bathroom, and then I'm going to go off to bed. I quickly made up the bed. It certainly lie flat, but very narrow at the feet. But others seem to have been able to get to sleep, so I guess I'll try. So, I've made the bed up. Interesting, there's no additional bedding, just the blanket and the pillow. I've got some eye shades and some earplugs, and I'm going to try to get off and get some sleep. My initial thought is the pillow's really comfortable. The bed without a mattress seems okay, but I guess the test will be if I get to sleep. Hope to see you in the morning, which isn't that far away really. Well, good morning. I've managed to have 4 hours sleep, and I've now been served our breakfast. The waffles look absolutely superb. The croissant looks perfectly prepared. We've had quite a lot of turbulence, so no hot coffee unfortunately, so I've gone with an apple juice. The banana waffle is perfect in every sense in the word. I couldn't believe how good my sleep was. The pillow, I think my head barely touched the pillow and I was out. Feeling well rested after 4 hours of sleep. This breakfast is waking me up. Overall, I thought the sleep experience was great, and you can't complain about banana with a caramel sauce waffles for breakfast. The waffles were so good, I was nearly tempted to lick the plate. Turbulence has settled down a bit. Just had my first coffee. Time to watch the last of the movie. The noise cancelling headphones, world class. 1900 on demand entertainment options were great. In-flight Wi-Fi complimentary in business class. As we commenced our early morning descent into Singapore, I wanted to reflect on this flight. I mean, it was good. It wasn't exceptional. And the first thing that comes to mind when you read about the reviews elsewhere, and certainly people's impression of Singapore Airlines, is that it is absolutely exceptional. I found it a little overrated. I mean, there were highlights. The cabin crew, with the exception of maybe the cabin manager, were wonderful. The cabin manager, seemed distant and non-engaging. The cabin crew uniforms are spectacular, and there's no doubt they provide a warm, welcoming smile, and it's heartfelt. The seats are good. However, in lie-flat mode, the seat was just okay, but very narrow at the feet, and it certainly was not as good as, say, the Gulf Air business class seat product, and definitely not in the same league as Qatar. The aircraft was modern, although it still had the older seats. The aircraft crew's understanding of the menu and its wording, and thus the passengers' expectations, was poor. However, I thought the individual cabin crew member response was exceptional, and they managed to serve 2 meals on the 7-hour flight, and the food was very good. The in-flight entertainment was good, and the free Wi-Fi in business class is always a great perk. The business class lounge in Brisbane was pleasant, but the Wi-Fi cap was way below par. So did they deserve their ranking? Maybe. One flight of only 7 hours with a late evening departure, it's possibly unkind to judge them too harshly, but they are certainly not as good as Qatar, who's rated number 1. Now, I will fly them again in the next week or so on a much longer flight and really test them to see if I've been unfair in this early assessment. Please give me your experience on Singapore Airlines. Please provide some feedback, and please don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel and click the notification button and like the video. It all really helps to develop the channel. And thanks for watching.